Hello, everyone. So, welcome to this session on building intuition about your architecture using observability. My name is Chinmay Gaikwad. I'm a technical evangelist at Epsagon. A bit about myself. So, I started off as a developer, and then I moved to a lot of different roles, including technical marketing at big companies as well as smaller startups. I love traveling, although I can't do much of traveling these days. And I also love soccer, exploring restaurants, and playing video games. So these days, I've just been playing video games throughout the day. So let's get started with the session. As most of you might know, that there has been an increasing shift from monolithic architecture to microservices-based architecture. Essentially, these days, most of the companies are moving away from clunky software to more modular software so that they can be agile and build software quickly. We at Epsagon have also seen the same trend with all of our customers. And the level of the company or the size of the company doesn't really matter here. Be it Adobe or OneEdge, which are big companies, or Choco or Fabric, which are startups, both the sides of the spectrum have used microservices to build applications faster and go to market faster. But why are these companies actually moving to microservices? So according to a poll conducted in 2020, the scalability, speed of development, and decreased system administration time have been the top reasons. As most of you might know, scaling microservices can be done within a fraction of a second. It just requires a couple of commands and that's it. Also, microservices increases the speed of development and decreases system administration time. But as Werner Vogels once said, everything fails all the time, and I kind of agree with it. So what's the catch in the microservices world? It essentially is that cloud APIs have become much more complex. And by cloud APIs, I don't mean just AWS or Azure or GCP APIs, or I also mean the third-party APIs such as Stripe, Auth0, etc. So because of the intermingling of third-party APIs as well as cloud APIs, it has become really complex to understand the architecture as well as troubleshoot applications. Also, we know that containers and microservices can scale really fast. So there is no behavior trend that we can observe. So it essentially boils down to how we can intuit the behavior for these particular containers or microservices. In monolithic environments, the logic of the code was within a service. But with microservices, the logic has shifted from within a service to between microservices. So there's a huge mindset change also happening. This obviously has a lot of business impacts too. As you can see, almost 3/4 of the issues are found by customers before they are found out by the operations teams. Every minute of downtime costs companies around $8,000. That's a huge number. So how can we reduce these numbers? One way to reduce these numbers is by having a great observability solution. Before I dive into what constitutes a good observability solution in a microservices world, let's just take a step back and understand what observability means. It essentially comprises of 3 pillars: metrics, logs, and traces. Metrics tells us what exactly is happening in your environment or in your application. CPU usage, memory usage, or even business level metrics such as click-through rate are great examples of metrics that companies track. Logs tell you why something is happening, and traces tell you where exactly it is happening. So there are a lot of traditional APM solutions out there which were built for monoliths and infrastructure monitoring, but they don't really work for microservices world. Why is that? I've listed a few reasons here. For example, traditional APMs focused on monoliths. That's why they could only see within a service, not between services. They're also heavy and they require a lot of manual instrumentation. And by heavy, I mean they consume a lot of CPU and memory resources, and that doesn't really translate well into a microservices or a cloud environment. They're also built for infrastructure monitoring, so they really don't translate well in cloud environments where infrastructure part is kind of taken care of. And we'll see why logs aren't a great starting point for debugging microservices environments in the later slides in this. So for this session, let's look at a use case, a very simple use case, which is basically a virtual shop. As you can see, the HTTP server authenticates requests using Auth0 and then pushes them onto a Kafka stream. Kafka stream essentially updates the DynamoDB table. And then we have a situation where the users complain about the orders that were sent but not handled. So how do we actually troubleshoot this particular use case? So metrics are a great way to start troubleshooting. We can start looking at the Kafka metrics, and we can see that everything kind of seems normal here. There is nothing abnormal, so no spikes or anything. So we move on to the next microservice to monitor. Maybe it's DynamoDB metrics. So as you can see here, there are some spikes, and these spikes are in user errors. So they are very important. So we want to know the reason behind why these spikes happen. When we need more data, we directly jump to logs. But logs aren't really a great starting point to debug microservices. Why is that? Let me give you an example. Let's say you have a microservice which produces hundreds of logs, hundreds of lines of logs. And then if you have hundreds of these microservices, you'll have to go through hundreds of thousands of log lines. So it's like finding the needle in the haystack. It becomes almost an impossible task to find what exactly is going on just using logs. So in our virtual shop example, if you're very lucky, you might be able to find what exactly is happening, but it will definitely take you a long time. And we saw each minute of downtime costs companies thousands of dollars. So that's not really an ideal situation, right? So let's summarize of what are the things that are missing right now. The things that are missing are correlation between metrics and logs and different microservices. So how can we correlate all these things together? That's where distributed tracing comes into picture. A trace essentially is the flow of requests through different microservices. So for example, if your application consists of thousands of microservices, that doesn't mean every request will go through all of the microservices. At most, it will go through a fraction of them, and the trace allows you to see that just that. So in our virtual shop example, you can see the request and the microservices involved in that request with an architecture diagram, something like this. So if you hover over the DynamoDB microservice, you can see that the key ID is missing. Which key ID though? If you hover over the Kafka Stream microservice, you can see that the username is empty. But why is it empty exactly? Then if you move to the Auth0 microservice, you can see that the JSON token has expired. So in this case, you might want to use refresh tokens instead of access tokens. And basically this tells you how troubleshooting has become much more quick because of using tracing. Tracing has a lot of different benefits, and an observability solution built on top of tracing can help you derive a lot out of it than just troubleshooting. So for example, you can have beautiful service maps created of your architecture. So it's very easy to understand what is going on in your architecture and how different microservices interact. You can also do faster feature developments using these service maps. For example, you can introduce new microservices and see how they behave with the current microservices. Another benefit that we already discussed is tracing brings focus to problems by narrowing down a subset of microservices rather than focusing on the entire architecture. Tracing also gives you the time where code is spending most of the time. So for example, if you have a lot of microservices, you can see where the code is spending a lot of time, and you can also debug performance issues using distributed tracing. Finally, there is correlation. So with distributed tracing, you can correlate metrics, logs, and traces. And remember, that was our initial problem. With traditional APMs, we could not correlate metrics, logs, and traces. But with distributed tracing-based solution, you can correlate all the three. So in this example, you can see that there are different spikes in throughput happening, and then you can correlate traces with these metrics, and then you can jump to the logs and see what is exactly happening. We at Epsagon believe that a good observability solution should help you throughout your product lifecycle. We call it helping the engineering flywheel. So on the right-hand side, you can see that an observability solution can help you design and implement your application using observability solution. So for example, we saw how service maps can help you visualize the entire architecture, how introducing new microservices can help you visualize how they behave with older microservices, etc. So design and implementation becomes really fast, feature development becomes really fast, as well as it saves you a bunch of time and cost by bringing in new engineers and ramping them up quickly. On the left-hand side, you can see that a good observability solution should also help you in testing and in production. So for example, you can use a good observability solution to troubleshoot quickly, as well as get to the root cause quickly. So let's summarize what we have seen here. We saw that microservices-based architectures bring about unique benefits and challenges. We saw the challenges that they brought about because of the complexity that was introduced. We saw the advantages of distributed tracing-based solution in terms of correlating metrics, logs, and traces, as well as correlating different services together. And then finally, we saw how observability is critical to keep track of the architecture, detect performance issues, and reduce mean time to resolution, as well as reduce a bunch of costs. The final thing that I would like to say is a good observability solution helps shift the mindset of an organization from being reactive to being proactive. And that is critical to build an intuition about your architecture. So that's it for my presentation. If you are interested in limited edition Epsagon socks, please visit the link mentioned here, and I will open it up for questions.